So I had this idea where I was just going to play a solo on 2 strings only, and I found a backing track. Backing track's an A Mixolydian. It's 4 chords, or 3 chords actually. 4-bar repeat, so it's 2 bars of A and then a bar of G and a bar of D. And I'll kind of talk in this video about like what I'm doing over those 4 chords, like on only the 2 strings, the B string and the G string. So before getting started, there's probably some kind of prerequisite knowledge you might need to know that's going to help understand everything else that's in the video. So like I mentioned before, this progression's in A Mixolydian. It has after the A there's a G, so it's like a flat 7. So you need to know the notes in A Mixolydian on the 2 strings, the G and the B strings. So it's A major with the flat 7. So if you spell it A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G, the flat 7, and then A. Find the notes on the strings. Here's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G, or like open string G, and then back to A. And then also those notes on the B string. So like your A is going to be here on the 10th fret, and then B, or B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G, and then A. So knowing those is going to be really important, where those notes are on the 2 strings. You don't have to worry about any of the other strings, just those 2. And then also like we're basically playing the 1 chord and the 4 chord. So in this case, it's going to be like A major and D major. And we're playing these as like dominant 7th chords. So we're playing A7 and D7. So knowing how to spell those chords, so that A7 is A, C sharp, E, G, and then D7 is D, F sharp, A, C. And again, knowing where to find those. So it's like A, C sharp, E, G, or G there. And then like D7, D, F sharp, A, and then C. And also knowing how to find them on the B string. So A, C sharp, E, G, and then D, F sharp, A, and then C. Also, it's gonna help if you know like the degree names. For the arpeggios, like relative to the root of the arpeggio. So for example, like you need to know that like in the A7, A is the 1, and C sharp is the 3, and then like C is the flat 3. So when you play like that, it's flat 3 to 3, and then E is the 5, and G is the flat 7, and then same with D. You need to know that, you know, relative to D, D is the 1. You don't have to worry about relative to A, the root of the scale, but just D is the 1 of D7, and then F sharp is the 3, and then A is the 5, and then C is the flat 7 of the D7 arpeggio. So like, I think that's the most basic knowledge you need, and then the rest, everything else, if you know that well, everything else I talk about is going to be fairly easy. Okay, so now I'll talk a little bit about the progression that I'm playing over. It's just a 4-bar loop. So the first bar is A, second bar is A, third bar is G, and the last bar, bar 4, is D. And those just play over and over and over again. And I play like through that 4 times, so I played the solo is a total of 16 bars. It's pretty slow tempo. The interesting thing here is that what I'm playing, like, you know, on these 2 strings, like I talked about before, the A7 and the D7. So I'm playing obviously like the A7 kind of arpeggios over the A7 chord, and I'm playing the D7 arpeggios over the D7 chord. Over the G7, I'm just playing D7. So what I'm playing when I solo is 2 bars of A, or 2 bars of A7, and then 2 bars of D7. I basically just ignore that G. And basically the idea is it's less work for me to have to worry about, kind of like chasing, as people say, the G for 1 bar and then moving to the D for 1 bar. Instead, I'm just playing 2 bars of D. It simplifies it. And also, like, D is the 5 of G. So the notes in G are G, B, D. And then notice that there's the D, it's the 5 of G. And then you just keep going, D, F sharp, A, C. So that D, F sharp, A, C is really just like extensions of the G chord. So I'm playing that D anyway. So the sound is going to be something like, I believe in theory, they would call it something like a G major 11 chord. So the bass you can hear in the track is playing G, B, D, and then I'm just playing D, F sharp, A, C. So it's more like the 1, 3, of G, and then I'm playing D, F sharp, A, C to 5, 7, 9, and 11. So it'd be something like a D major 11 sound. Like I can kind of imitate it a little bit. Imagine if you just play like, you know, your G here is in the bass, and you play a D major over it, like this D major here. And so it's going to be like that kind of sound. And it's kind of that nice open sound. And it works, and then it just changes, you know, the progression under it changes to D and then D here. So it's going to sound like a bar of this, and then a bar of, and it works. So it like, that's kind of the basic sound, and I mean, the explanation of why you just don't have to worry about playing G. You can just play only A and D, and you're fine that way. Okay, so then the question is like, now that we have all this kind of prerequisite stuff out of the way, what do you actually play? So let's focus first on A7. We want to be able to play the A7 arpeggio on these two strings, G and B strings, okay? So like, let's just start at the bottom, and I'm going to keep everything for simplicity's sake, like under the 12th fret, but knowing also that you can apply the same stuff and just move it above the 12th fret, just in the same kind of positions it repeats. So let's just keep it under the 12th fret for just illustration purposes, but like, you start with A here in the C sharp, so you play 1 and 3 here, and then you would just move up to the next position. So instead of playing 3 here, play it on the G string, so 3 and 5 there, C sharp and E, then move it up again, play 5 here, to flat 7, so E and G, and then move it up again, so flat 7 and 1 here. So that gives you 4 areas to play your A7 arpeggio. Like there's 4 different places to get all the notes. They kind of repeat because, you know, anyway, it's like this. So like these are the basic positions. Okay, so now we have like this basic 4 positions, kind of where you can play A7. Now is where it's really helpful to know those other scale degrees that are in A mixolydian. So we know like A7 is 1, 3, 5 and flat 7. What about 2, 4, 6? So here, like, you can build those extra scale degrees in around each of those positions that we already know. So the first one is here, just 1 and 3, and then you know 2 is going to be there. And then like 4 would be here, and then 5. So you have all those options to kind of play around with. You move up to this one here, and here's your 3, and then what I always like to do is slide into that 3 from a half step below. So it gives it that kind of sound. It's that kind of like blues, kind of country sound. It's nice, I like it. So you got that, and then here's your 5, here's your 6, here's your flat 7. So those are your options. The next position, you have 5 and flat 7 here. So flat 7 goes to 1. And then you can even bend 1 up to 2. Like that. And then you're back to flat 7 to 1. And same, you can take 2 and bend it to 3. Like that. And because you have like, I had a lick too, it was like, there's your 3 here, flat 3 to 3 like that. So you just have all these options, right? Kind of, that's where the other scale degrees fit in with those basic patterns. So at this point, it's nice to experiment a little bit with kind of playing these ideas over a beat or groove or whatever. So you can just do it like with the guitar, just A, and then what do you got? Just stuff like that, like you're kind of experiment with the different like ideas in each position. You're using the arpeggios, and then you're adding the scale degrees. Just kind of throwing it together with the rhythm and just seeing kind of what it gets and getting kind of comfortable doing that. So far, just to kind of recap, the first thing we did was find the basic places to play that A7 arpeggio. So 1 and 3, 3 and 5, 5 and 7, and then flat 7 and 1. And then we put in like the other notes, like the 2, 4, and 6 in each place, you know, where they're easy to grab. And then where we're like that. And then we're practicing with some rhythm. So you would do the same thing with the D7. So find where it is. So here's 1 and 3 of D7. 1 and 3, 3 and 5. 5 and flat 7, and then flat 7 and 1. And then it's the same shape. So when you have like that's A7, you play like that. D7 you would just be, or A7 you play, and you play D7. So the shapes themselves are the same. You just have to find like where to play each one on the fretboard. So you got that down. Maybe playing some like rhythm things over like a D major chord or a D7 chord. And then like I was kind of practicing switching back and forth, so like maybe 4 beats of A7, like 2 bars, and 4 beats of D7 to kind of connect some ideas and lines and stuff. And basically that's what I'm playing on the recording. Okay, so why would anybody actually want to do this? Like play a solo on 2 strings only? Yeah, good question. All right, like yeah, one thing that's kind of cool about it is like once you like switch between positions and get comfortable doing that, it looks like you're moving all over the neck, like you really know. It's not so too plain, but like it looks like you're kind of sliding everywhere and you really know what you're doing, so it's kind of neat. Another thing, like speaking of sliding, is that when you start kind of building like licks and vocabulary with these ideas, like you can use those slides a lot, and that's something that you can do. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's not like unique to guitar, but it's something that like sliding around a lot as guitar can do it, and like piano, for example, can't. So it's kind of a cool effect that guitar can do. Another reason I think is like it's just another like what is it, tool in your tool belt. I can't say arsenal because that's a mixed metaphor. It's a tool in the tool belt, even though that sounds kind of silly, but that's what it is. So like if you're used to playing like pentatonic stuff, like you're all like playing like stuff in A like that, then you can just like be able to slide from there. So you can kind of blend those things, or if you're playing like I don't know, like a triad, and kind of like move up with the 2 strings to the next triad and like over there or something. So it just gives you extra like little ideas that you can blend into the rest of your playing that you're comfortable with to vary things up a bit. Did I write anything else down? I think I had something else. Yeah, no, that was it. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. I hope this helped if you happen to watch this, and I'll put the full solo for reference at the end here.